clerk to approve the minutes. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Appears the ayes have it, do have it, that motion carries. Moving on to boards, commissions, and other bodies. Mr. Melner, have you any nominations?
Yes, Mayor. I move to make the following appointment for Community Development Advisory Committee, Jamin Pfeiffer, to a term expiring June 30th, 2026.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Melner, a second from Councilmember Tomachoff to approve item number 2. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Here's the ayes have it, do have it, that motion carries. Have we got those nominees here? We do, okay. I'll meet you up here by the podium. I want to put you right over here. Okay, sir, if you would, hold your right hand up. Say I, state your name,
I, Amon Pfeiffer,
and then repeat after me. Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm that I will support the Constitution
or affirm that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of the State of Arizona,
of the State of Arizona,
that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance to the same,
and defend them against all enemies,
and defend them against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of my office
of my office
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
Give him a round of applause, folks. Thank you. Okay. All right, the next thing, we have a proclamation for Parks and Recreation. The purpose and recommended action is to proclaim the month of July 2024 as Parks and Recreation Month in the city of Glendale. Accepting the proclamation, I understand, is John Kennedy, Parks and Recreation staff and members. And then also joining us tonight will be Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission members. If all of you would come up to the podium, we'll get that part of it done. Kind of come over on this side. Okay, who's accepting this? Why don't you come on up here? Okay, folks. All right, proclamation, City of Glendale. Whereas Glendale's parks, natural areas, playgrounds, sports fields, recreation programs, community centers make Glendale an attractive and desirable place to live, work, play, and visit while contributing to its ongoing economic vitality. And whereas public parks and recreation systems are dedicated to enhancing the quality of life for our residents and communities and around the world through recreational programming, leisure activities, and conservation efforts. Whereas parks and recreation experiences develop community lifelines and they create continuous experiences for every member in the community. And whereas the City of Glendale Parks and Recreation Department is nationally accredited with over 2,100 acres of park acreage, and whereas July kicks off the summer season and has therefore been designated as Parks and Recreation Month by the National Recreation and Park Association and the U.S. House of Representatives. Now therefore, I, Jerry P. Wires, Mayor of the City of Glendale, Arizona, on behalf of our City Council, do hereby proclaim July 24 as Parks and Recreation Month in the City of Glendale, Arizona, and I encourage all citizens to support and utilize the parks and recreation programs in our community. Signed by our Chief Clerk, myself. I'm going to give that to you, and would you like any words?
Yes.
Very good, sir.
Mayor and council, thank you for all the support that you offer this team, but it's this team right here behind me. They're the ones that deserve all the credit. They get all the work done to create community here for our citizens of Glendale. So thank you very much.
Easy. Yes. All right, why don't we step on this side when we get a picture? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move to our consent agenda, and those items are 4 through 37. Items on the consent agenda are, they're of routine nature, or they've been previously studied by this council at a workshop session. Now, they are intended to be acted upon in one motion by this council. Do we have any speaker cards for any of the consent agenda items?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. Can I have a motion to approve consent agenda items 4 through 37?
Yes, Mayor, I move we approve consent agenda items 4 through 37.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Tomachoff, a second from who?
Me.
Councilmember Clark, to approve consent agenda items 4 through 37. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Here's your ayes have it, do have it, that motion carries. Very good. Moving on to consent resolutions, Ms. Bauer, would you read consent resolution items 38 through 51 by number and title, please?
Item 38, resolution number R 24-44, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, establishing a qualified vendors list for the execution of work associated with the city's approved annual audit plan and authorizing the city manager to execute any number of professional services form agreements for internal audit services with qualified firms not to exceed the City Council's annual budget allocation for independent internal audit program professional and contractual services. Item 39, resolution number R 24-45, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, approving and authorizing the acceptance of U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development fiscal year 2023 Family Self-Sufficiency Grant in the amount of $89,949 and authorizing the city manager to execute all necessary documents and renewals related to this program. Item 40, resolution number R 24-46, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of a local consent agreement, DHS 23-GPD-137-00-01, with the Arizona Department of Homeland Security and authorizing receipt of services and related activities in lieu of funds from the state and local cybersecurity grant program. Item 41, resolution number R 24-47, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of Amendment Number 1 to the Memorandum of Understanding with the Arizona Department of Administration Technology regarding geospatial support services for Next Generation 911 on behalf of the Glendale Police Department. Item 42, resolution number R 24-48, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Scottsdale for law enforcement, security, and traffic management services for events at the State Farm Stadium in Glendale. Item 43, resolution number R 24-49, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of a memorandum of understanding with the United States Marshals Service for the Violent Offender Task Force as part of joint law enforcement operations. Item 44, resolution number R 24-50, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of a memorandum of understanding between the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Glendale Police Department for participation in the Joint Terrorism Task Force. Item 45, resolution number R 24-51, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing the entering into of a grant agreement ADOA AZ 9112527 with the Arizona Department of Administration regarding geospatial support services for Next Generation 911 services on behalf of the Glendale Police Department. Item 46, resolution number R 24-52, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of an intergovernmental agreement with the Tohono O'odham Nation to provide detention services. Item 47, resolution number R 24-53, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into Amendment Number 4 of an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Phoenix for the operation of fixed route transit services in the City of Glendale. Item 48, resolution number R 24-54, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into an amendment to the intergovernmental agreement 133752025 1100 for transit services with the Regional Public Transportation Authority for the provision of public transportation services in the City of Glendale. Item 49, resolution number R 24-55, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of Amendment 1 to the joint agency agreement with the Maricopa Association of Governments for the roadway safety program for safety improvements at the Olive Avenue and 61st Avenue intersection in the City of Glendale. Item 50, resolution number R 24-56, a resolution council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into Amendment 2 to the joint agency agreement with the Maricopa Association of Governments for the roadway safety improvement program for safety improvements on Olive Avenue between 59th Avenue and 67th Avenue intersections in the City of Glendale. Item 51, resolution number R 24-57, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Peoria for installation of a traffic signal and minor roadway improvements at the Northern Avenue and 111th Avenue intersection. That concludes the consent resolutions.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve items 38 through 51 on the consent resolutions agenda?
Mayor,
Go ahead, sir.
I move that we approve resolutions numbers 38 through 51.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Melner, a second from Councilmember Clark to approve the items 38 through 51 on the consent resolutions agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Your guys have it, that motion carries. Moving on to bids and contracts, item number 52.
Authorization to enter into a professional services agreement with the Animal Defense League of Arizona for certain feral cat services and outreach in the City of Glendale. There are no speaker cards.
No speaker cards. We have a motion for item 52, please.
Okay, Mayor, I move we approve item 52.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Hewitt, second from Councilmember Tomachoff to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Starting off with Councilmember Baldenegro. How do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Mayor, I will explain my vote
Please.
on this and the following multitude of items that are under bids and contracts. These are all 5-year contracts. They allow for no continuity of oversight by council when city council terms are only 4 years. So I will be voting no on this item and every other item under bids and contracts tonight. And with that, I vote nay.
Thank you. Councilmember Melner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. That motion carries. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce 5-3, please?
Authorization to enter into a professional services agreement with Policy Confluence, Inc., doing business as Polco for resident surveys. There are no speaker cards.
All right, any questions from the council? Hearing none, can I get a motion?
Mayor, I move to approve item number 53.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Baldenegro, a second from Councilmember Tomachoff for the recommended action. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Baldenegro, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilmember Melner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. That motion also carries. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 54, please?
Authorization to enter into a professional services agreement with Valley Schools Employee Benefits Group for Well Styles Wellness Services. There are no speaker cards.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? Can I get a motion on item 54, please?
Mayor, I move we authorize the city manager to enter into the described agreement with Valley Schools Employee Benefits Group.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Turner, second from Councilmember Tomachoff for the recommended action. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Baldenegro, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilmember Melner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The motion carries. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 55, please?
Authorization to award contract to Securian Life Insurance Company for basic AD&D and supplemental life insurance. There are no speaker cards.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve item 55?
Mayor, I move we authorize that we award the request for proposal and enter into the agreement with Securian Life Insurance Company.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Turner, second from the Vice Mayor to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Baldenegro, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilmember Milner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, that motion also carries. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 5-6?
Award of RFP 24-52 and authorization to enter into an agreement with American Fitness Services LLC for recreation center fitness equipment maintenance and repairs. There are no speaker cards.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? Can I get a motion on item 56?
Mayor, I move to approve item number 56.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Baldenegro, second from Councilmember Tomachoff for the recommended action. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Councilmember Baldenegro, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilmember Melner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, that motion also carries. Item 57, if you would, please.
Award of RFP 24-55 and authorization to enter into an agreement with Lake Maintenance Service LLC for pond lake management services. There are no speaker cards.
Any discussion? Okay, can I get a motion?
Yes, Mayor, I move we award RFP 24-55 to Lake Maintenance Service LLC.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Tomachoff, second from the Vice Mayor to approve the recommended action. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Baldenegro, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilmember Milner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, that motion carries. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 58, please?
Award of IFB 24-54 and authorization to enter into agreements with multiple vendors for traffic operations equipment. There are no speaker cards.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? Hearing none. Motion to approve. Can I get that, please? Anybody?
Mayor, I
Sure.
move we approve the action.
Second.
I have a motion from the Vice Mayor, a second from Councilmember Tomachoff to approve the recommended action. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Councilmember Baldenegro, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilmember Melner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, that motion carries. Moving on to land development actions. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 59, please?
Ordinance number O 24-22, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, extending and increasing the corporate limits of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, pursuant to the provisions of Title IX, Chapter 4, Section 9-471, Arizona Revised Statutes, and its amendments by annexing certain territory located at the southeast corner of Myrtle Avenue and 81st Avenue in the City of Glendale, consisting of approximately 5.11 acres to be known as Annexation Area Number 259, amending the zoning map, providing for an effective date, and ordering that a certified copy of the ordinance is recorded.
Public hearing is now open on item 59, Myrtle Avenue and 81st Avenue annexation, case number AN 259. Ms. Perry.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We are at the final action required for annexation application number AN-259, which is the adoption of the proposed annexation. The item was presented and received consensus from City Council to proceed with the annexation application on April the 23rd of 2024. On May 28th of this year, City Council conducted a public hearing on the blank petition for this application in which there were no speakers. A summary of the request. The subject property is approximately 5 acres in size. It's located at the southeast corner of Myrtle Avenue, Alignment, and 81st Avenue. The property is currently in the county jurisdiction with residential zoning districts. The city applies the like-compatible zoning upon annexation, which would be R4 and R16, which is also residential zonings. The applicant is proposing to develop the site with approximately 73 townhomes currently intended for sale. This proposed development does not require a rezoning action, so upon annexation, Only a design review application is required for approval. Here is the current annexation map that council has seen several times that only depicts the subject annexation application in comparison to other applications in the queue. Here is the annexation map that depicts the subject property does abuts the city limits. Okay, here's an area map. And as council is aware, this property is part of a larger size property that is located in the county, which is a county island within the city limits, which is positive for sound growth and development for the city, provided council approves the annexation. With that, that concludes the presentation. I will be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, staff seeks council's approval of the annexation request.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the council? Hearing none, do we have any speaker cards for this item?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that need to speak on this item? Okay. Can I get a motion on item 59?
Yes, Mayor. I move we pass and adopt ordinance number 024-22.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Clark, second from the Vice Mayor, to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Baldenegro, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Melner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. That motion carries unanimous. Moving on to ordinances. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 6-0?
Ordinance number O-24-23, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, levying upon the assessed valuation of the property within the City of Glendale, subject to taxation, a certain sum upon each $100 of valuation sufficient to raise the amount estimated to be required in the annual budget, less the amount estimated to be received from other sources of revenue, providing funds for various bond redemptions for the purpose of paying interest upon bonded indebtedness, and providing funds for general municipal expenses, all for the fiscal year ending the 30th day of June 2025 and declaring an emergency.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This item is to adopt an ordinance to set the primary and secondary property tax rates for fiscal year 2025. The primary property tax rate will be 0.3328 cents per $100 of assessed valuation, and the secondary property tax rate will be 1.1597 per $100 of assessed valuation. The total property tax rate will decrease from $1.5626 to $1.4925 for fiscal year 2025. This concludes my presentation, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Any questions from the council? Seeing none. So, Mr. Gibson, how many years in a row is this holding our property taxes?
Mayor and Council, the last rate increase was fiscal year 2016, so this is our 9th year decreasing our overall property tax rate.
Okay, all right, makes me proud. Can I get a motion on item number 60, ordinance 024-23?
I move to approve ordinance number 024-23.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Baldenegro, a second from Councilmember Tomachoff to approve the recommended action. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Baldenegro, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Melner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Did, you had your microphone off. Can you say it again?
Mine's on. Aye.
We didn't hear you.
Aye.
Okay, very good. Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Mr. Turner, I called you?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
But I'd like to vote twice more like Councilmember Tomachoff got.
Okay, chair votes aye. That motion passes unanimous,
times.
1 vote per person. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 61?
Ordinance number O-24-24, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing the sale of land by the city generally located at the northwest corner of Montebello Avenue and 91st Avenue, totaling 8.25 acres, to Vi Resorts LLC, and directing the city manager to execute all necessary documents for the sale, and directing the city clerk to record a certified copy of this ordinance.
Mayor, council members, I'm Don Besser with the Engineering Department. You do have an ordinance before you tonight for a sale of approximately 1.25 acres. Before closing, that will be perfected to get the exact number. This is the land that's on the northwest corner of the intersection of Montebello and 91st Avenue. It is a vacant city land that the city's been maintaining in a vacant state for a number of years. The sale of this property is to Vi Resorts LLC. They intend to construct a parking structure that will serve the resort and the area as well. And for that, the city will receive approximately $7.5 million for the sale of the raw land. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Questions from the council?
Mayor?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, is this, the property value, is this the market value? How do we determine that?
Mayor, council member, I believe it was a negotiated fee for the sale price, but it's very consistent with the property values in that area.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Can I get a motion on item number 61, ordinance 024-24?
Yes, Mayor, but I believe before I make the motion, the city attorney has an amendment and some other information to provide.
Okay, let's do that then. Mr. Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and Councilmember Clark. Yes, staff would like to propose 3 modifications to the agreement that was posted and is part of your agenda. First, staff wish to propose the sentence at the end of paragraph 8, and the sentence would read, "Seller agrees to reimburse purchaser for the costs incurred in bringing city utilities to the site," period. Staff also wishes to propose the following language added to paragraph 35F. And this language is going to be inserted following the sentence that concludes, shall expire on the 2-year anniversary of the effective date of this agreement. So now begins the new language. In the event seller receives an offer from a third party to purchase the remaining approximately 11.45 acres of land, seller will provide written notice of such offer to purchaser. Purchaser will have 30 days to provide written notice to seller that purchaser will exercise its right of first refusal to purchase the remaining approximately 11.45 acres of vacant land. In the event purchaser does not respond within 30 days, purchaser is deemed to have elected not to exercise its right of first refusal. And that concludes the new language. And then finally, the staff proposes to strike paragraph 35G in the version of the agreement that's posted to the agenda. That paragraph is duplicated and is repeated in 35B. And that concludes our proposed amendments.
All right. If you want to go ahead and make your motion with
Yes.
the amendments, and then I will have a second. Then we're going to go ahead and listen to public comment before we vote.
Okay. Mayor, I move that we pass and adopt ordinance number 024-24 with 1 amendment regarding utilities and 2 changes to the language, 1 with regard to land purchase and the other with regard to paragraph 5.
Is that sufficient?
35.
Did I do it
Mayor,
right?
members of the council, that's sufficient with the statement that it's paragraph 35, I think. is the-
35. Sorry, I
duplicative
didn't hear
statement.
all that.
That's okay.
I changed that to paragraph 35, Mayor.
Second.
Okay, I do have a motion. I have a second. I'm going to go ahead and open this up to the public. We have 3 speaker cards. I'm going to ask Taylor Lincoln if you would come up to the podium. What I would ask all of you to do is, if you live in Glendale, I don't need your address. What I need you to do is tell us the crossroads or the district that you're in. You'll have 3 minutes, and then if everybody will go by that, we'll be just fine. Hi, how are you?
Good. Hi, my name is Taylor Lincoln. I live in the Cactus District in Glendale. I'm here tonight to speak in opposition on the sale of the Black Lot to VAI Resort. I first heard about this project when a canvasser knocked on my door with a referendum position. After hearing about the 25-year property tax break that Glendale City Council wanted to give VAI Resort, I signed immediately. Glendale taxpayers should have a say in whether City Council is handing out millions of dollars in tax breaks for a luxury resort and whether those types of deals include tangible community benefits, especially with rising inflation and a high cost of living. Residents are the ones who have to foot the bill and feel the consequences of these giveaways. I fail to see what community value a parking lot will add to Glendale when we have a homelessness crisis, we are struggling with opioid addiction, and we have so many problems within our community. Today, I am extremely concerned about Glendale City Council selling off Black Lot to VAI Resort rather than exploring options of better utilizing this public asset and prioritizing public funds for people rather than corporations. This is not in the best interest of Glendale residents, and I am staunchly opposed to selling Black Lot to VAI Resort. Please keep public property in public hands. Thank you.
Thank you. Anna Martinez. Again, if you'd state the city you live in, if it's Glendale, you state your district or your crossroads. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Anna Martinez. I am a homeowner and taxpayer in the Cactus District here in Glendale. I am here to speak about the sale of the Black Lot to the VAI Resort. This city is fortunate to have this property on its hands. Sure, selling the property right now will result in a short-term infusion of funds to the city of Glendale, but as a homeowner, I understand the value of owning property. It's a long-term investment that will gain value over time, and it's a long-term investment in my future. The city council talks about how they believe that property values will increase with the construction of the VAI Resort and how residents should be happy about that. Yet the city selling public land to the resort and saying how that will be good for residents because of the short-term gain, it doesn't make sense. We've already been through so much with this VAI Resort project. Glendale has seen its share of bad deals. I don't have to remind anyone of the Coyotes Arena and the issues that caused for the city. By selling the Black Lot to VAI Resort, the city of Glendale is giving up potential future revenue that would benefit the community. And by selling the Black Lot to VAI Resort, the city of Glendale is giving away the earning potential of that land to VAI Resort. Is this really in the best interest of Glendale residents? Because it sure doesn't sound like it. Thank you.
Thank you.
What district is she from? Mayor, what district is she from?
She has Cactus.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I have a sheet here, but nobody put their name on it. They put a business name on here, but I don't know the person. Your name is Morningstar? Okay, please come forward. Again, if it's Glendale, state the district. If it's not Glendale, if you'd state the city.
City of Phoenix, I'm here representing Worker Power.
Good.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Morningstar Bloom, and I work with Worker Power. I'm here tonight to talk about item 61, the sale of public land to VAI Resort. For the third time, a VAI Resort item was published to the City Council meeting agenda at the last possible cutoff, just 24 hours before the meeting. I am back again to comment on the lack of transparency and the lack of opportunity for public input. Yes, Glendale City Council is technically following all of the rules. 24-hour notice is what is required. Publishing the sale in the newspaper on May 8th and May 15th is what is required. But there's a difference between doing what is exactly and minimally required in order to post this information and doing what is right and transparent. I think it's important that this council go above and beyond what is strictly required, especially given that this project has been swimming in controversy for over a year. Worker Power has engaged thousands of Glendale residents over the past 2 years. We have no doubts that Glendale residents care about this project and how it will impact their community. They want to be heard. Over 4,000 of them signed a referendum petition last year having to do with this project. However, actions such as waiting until just before the sanction cutoff time to add this to the agenda makes it difficult for everyday working people to be able to come out and have their voices heard. As such, you are stewards of public goods and assets and should be considering what is right for the community for years to come. Is Glendale City Council considering all potential complications that the sale of public land could lead to? And are you considering the needs of the future residents for Glendale? Or are you considering the needs of VAI Resort? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Phelps.
Mayor, members of the council, just as a clarity, for the earlier statement that the city is entering into a GIPLET. That is not the case. As you know, this council made a decision some time ago not to enter in to the GIPLET. We had a question regarding the land value. Land value was predicated on looking at comparable sales in the area, and so that's how we came to the $21 per square foot cost for that. And then just as a reminder, I know there's been concern about the public benefit. As the scope and magnitude of the Via Resort has increased over the last 2 years, it's obviously that is a positive from an economic development driver, but obviously they need additional parking to support their operations. I think if I were a citizen at home looking at this and listening to this conversation, I would want to remind them this. A number of years ago, a private developer was going to put an IKEA. That's back when IKEA was still expanding their big box retail outlets. We were very excited because our estimations from our economic forecaster was the citizens would receive, through the taxation coming to the city, over $3 million a year annually when the IKEA came in. We were going to put in some additional roadways, improvements to help them do that. That deal fell apart because IKEA quit expanding nationally. So we had an economic development or economic forecast done recently on the Via Resort, and it will not reach the $3 million mark in new tax revenues to the citizens. The projection is $32.5 million annually to the citizens of Glendale. Now, to give that some perspective, that's the equivalent that if the city were fortunate enough to see 2.5 Arrowhead Town Center, Bell Road retail corridors built in this city. It would take 2.5 of those malls to equal the $32 million a year that is projected by an independent economist regarding the resort. So I believe the sale is in the interest of the citizens. It is going to support a development that is 100% privately funded. It will create, we believe, in excess of over 1,000 jobs here in the community, and more importantly, create $32.5 million, and this is a 25-year average of new revenue coming into the city. So we did our analysis, and we do believe that this is a positive for our citizens, and I think it's important to note that for those who are watching at home. And that concludes my remarks.
Thank you, sir. Okay, any questions from the council?
Mayor, could I just ask one question of the city manager?
Go ahead.
You mentioned the property tax that Glendale will be receiving. What about the rest of the community on property tax? What would that be?
So, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor Hugh, you're correct. The forecast was just the $32.5 million just for the city portion. All total over the 25 years for schools, transportation, the county, and the state, it was almost an additional $2 billion of tax revenue going to those jurisdictions. Now, let me just give you a little bit of reference. That site where the Via Resort has been up until when it was developed, has been an active farm and used as a farm here in the Glendale for decades. At its peak before it was purchased, it generated a total of $2,000 a year in annual property tax. That $2,000 was then divided between the city share, the school district, the county, and the state. $2,000 divided up every year. That's what was going into our local community. Now what's going to happen, because we're the smallest portion of the economic benefit from the taxation that is there, this is going to be a significant windfall for our school districts that are in desperate need of getting additional revenue in to pay for facilities and operations. It will benefit the county and clearly benefit the state. So we believe this to be, a significant project in the history of this city, and certainly a positive element for our citizens.
Okay, any other questions from the council? Okay, We'll conduct a roll call vote. Councilmember Baldenegro, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Proudly, aye.
Councilmember Milner, how do you vote?
I'd like to explain my vote.
Go ahead, sir.
And a lot of what our city manager stated, but the question that came up regarding, is this a good benefit for the citizens to sell this land at this time? Again, it's not tied to any kind of giveaway. That's why I asked the question, is what's the value of this land? We're selling it for its current value, but in return for this, we know that the Vi Resort needs additional parking. That's a given. So for the Vi Resort to continue and to be successful, it does need to have the parking capability. So to provide that, the city has felt like in order to get that $32 million per year, that it is a benefit to the citizens to sell this land at fair market value in order for to ensure that the Vi Resort has a sufficient parking, and this will provide that. You know, there's the rumors that have been going around about this $100 million of tax relief to Vi Resort, or giving away money to Vi Resort. We haven't given anything away to Vi Resort. Yes, we have given them some discounts on their permit fees and whatnot, and things like that.
It'll be removed if there's any more outbursts from the audience. You understand?
And so, I just wanted the public to know that there is not a multi-million-dollar giveaway to the Vi Resort. That has not happened. This giblet is not going to happen, and so that has not happened. And I felt important that some of the information that was inaccurately presented tonight be at least presented so that people understand what the truth is. And so with that, I vote aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Mayor, I'd like to explain my vote.
Go ahead.
Just for the comment about the lack of transparency, this property has been listed for sale for the past 2 years, listed with a broker here in town. It's been advertised and marketed for sale for 2 years. This has not been done in secret. This has been very public, very transparent. Obviously, Vi needs to be able to park cars. They're paying market rate for the property. And there's literally, I don't understand the argument about it not being transparent. It's public meetings, public discussions. The listing was renewed, just recently expired. But it's been for sale, this property, for 2 years. So I disagree with the fact that this has been done in a vacuum. This has been done very publicly. And this makes sense because Vi does need parking. So, Mayor, I vote aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Turner.
Thank you, Mayor. Explain my vote?
Please.
I certainly would have much preferred that we'd been able to accomplish the parking garage through the private public partnership we had envisioned on the 95th Avenue side of the land that we own out there. But for various reasons, that's not possible. I think this is the second best solution, and it opens the opportunity for, as has been mentioned, not only tax revenue for the city, but also school districts, the state, and the county, and any special districts in the area, but also importantly, the jobs that come along with that. Very good, high-paying construction jobs that are paychecks people are taking home today, but also once the resort is open, jobs and paychecks from all segments of, for all segments of the community, everything from grounds maintenance and busboys clear up through accountants and management level positions. So there's opportunity here for our community that I think more than offsets any downside to us selling this particular parcel. So with that, I vote aye.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Mayor, I'd like to explain my vote, please.
Please, go ahead.
I agree with Councilmember Turner. We are creating jobs, and jobs are very important in this economy. And besides that, the city manager mentioned it, the largest portion of this tax will go to help our school districts receiving millions and millions of dollars from this Vi Resort. And hopefully those students maybe can grow up and get jobs there and and live in Glendale. And I vote aye.
Thank you. I don't need to just explain my vote. I think you heard from pretty much everybody. I do vote aye, that does pass. With that said, moving on to resolutions, item number 62, Ms. Bauer.
Resolution number R 24-58, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, designating the Chief Fiscal Officer for officially submitting the fiscal year 2025 expenditure limitation report to the Arizona Auditor General.
Mayor and Council, this item is to adopt a resolution designating me, Levi D. Gibson, as the Chief Fiscal Officer for officially submitting the fiscal year 2025 annual expenditure limitation report to the Arizona Auditor General as required by statute. This concludes my presentation.
All right. We have any speaker cards on this item?
No, sir.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve item 62?
Yes, Mayor. I move we pass and adopt item number 62, resolution 024-58.
Anybody want a second?
Second.
Okay. A motion from Councilmember Clark, second from the Vice Mayor to approve item 62 on the consent resolutions agenda. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Here's the ayes have it, do have it. That motion carries. On item 63, we've asked that be held. Continued, I'm sorry. Continued. So we will not be hearing item 63. With that,
Point of order.
go ahead.
Mayor, Council, just for the record, at the request of the applicant, that item is requested to be continued to date specific, being September the 10th.
I'm sorry, say again?
The item is requested to be continued to the September 10th
September 10, okay.
public hearing meeting.
All right, very good. Okay, and we have an item 63.
We just did 63.
That was 63.
That was 63.
That was it.
That's it.
Do we need a
Okay.
motion to do that?
Mayor.
Go ahead.
Point of order. Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I suggest we have a motion to continue that item to the date certain.
I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Can you ask for a motion to continue the item to the September 10th date?
Mayor,
good,
I
yeah.
move we continue item 63, date certain September 10th.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, Councilmember Tomchop, second Councilmember Clark. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, vote nay. Appears the ayes have it, do have it. That motion carries. Okay. I guess we're ready for council comments, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Council comments and suggestions. Mr. Baldonegro, have you any, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, Councilmember Clark?
Yes, Mayor, this is our last meeting, and we vacate during the month of June, so it's the perfect opportunity to wish everyone happy 4th of July, happy birthday of our country, and please, even though you have the freedom to shoot fireworks off ad nauseum, please don't. Try to shoot them off earlier in the evening. Be aware that your neighbors have pets, especially dogs, who freak out when they hear these fireworks. So be respectful of your neighbor while you're being as safe as you can possibly be. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Melner?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to echo Councilmember Clark's comments. It is the 4th of July. Just remember, in the city of Glendale, you can't use fireworks that go into the air. They're illegal. Bombs that make loud noises are illegal. So call your local police department, Glendale non-emergency number, if you have any concerns or see that happening in your neighborhood. We need to try to really improve and be more respectful of our neighbors and their pets. And with that, enjoy your 4th of July weekend.
Councilmember Tomchop?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to notify Troy residents that have not seen it in the newsletter that on July 11th, July 9th, at 5:30 p.m. at Foothills Library, there will be a meeting to present two options for Sierra Verde Park. I don't want to get into it. It's been in my newsletter. You can contact me if you want more information. But if you want to have input, there's 2 options to choose from that will be presented in detail at that meeting on July 9th at 5:30 at Foothills Library, not at the Aquatic Center this time. And I'd like to also remind residents, all of us get, I know I get dozens and dozens of complaints every year on 4th of July. So please obey the law, be respectful of your neighborhood. There's not only restrictions on the type of fireworks you can use, there's restrictions on the hours that you can shoot off fireworks too. No need to be shooting them off all over the night into 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I honestly, off the top of my head, don't remember what the cutoff time is, but if you want to know, ask me and I will let you know. I think it's midnight. I believe it is midnight. And anything after that is illegal, and it's just not being a good neighbor. So please follow the law and be safe. Thank you.
Councilmember Turner.
Thank you, Mayor. Of course, I'd like to echo the comments of my colleagues up here regarding fireworks this coming 4th of July and all of our other holidays. As has been said, if it flies into the air or if it explodes and makes a loud noise, it's not a legal firework. Our police department, at the direction of the council, is being very proactive, doing their best to enforce this law. They don't necessarily need to catch you in the act, so be aware of that. And I read that just today or yesterday, police officers have been out visiting the fireworks stands in our community and confiscating and making arrests for illegal fireworks for sale. So we are taking it seriously. As has been mentioned, it's the #1 complaint, certainly around the holidays. And please have respect for your neighbors and for their pets, and let's try to keep it down and keep control of it. That's all. And for those of you who are may not feel that enough is getting done, certainly feel free to call your state legislature. They're the ones that created this problem, and they're the ones that can take care of it. Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Okay, I gotta quit. I was smiling when Councilmember Turner was talking at the end there. The, 4th of July, celebrate it. It was the birth of the greatest nation on earth. Just don't shoot stuff up in the air, but celebrate the 4th of July.
No?
Yep.
All right, well, I'm going to give you options because everybody's telling you don't do it. You don't have to do it. For the 12th year in a row, out at Westgate, and I'll take the blame or I'll take the credit, but I was able to convince Westgate literally 12 years ago to put on a fireworks show, and it's gotten big and it's free. It costs nothing. And so I would advise you, don't take the chance on shooting fireworks into the air and maybe catching your neighbor's house on fire when you can go out and watch a wonderful show, have a good time, get refreshments, eat dinner, and start a family tradition at Westgate rather than taking the chance at your home. That obviously would be July 4th. I would recommend that you get there early. It's very, very busy. It's an awful lot of fun. And they normally start the fireworks around 9 o'clock, but I would encourage you to get there a little bit earlier. And then as a personal point of privilege, I want to thank somebody for trusting me for a long time. Today is my 42nd wedding anniversary, and when we're done, I'm going home to my bride. So thank you. I'm not sure why she lets me do it, but she does. So at any rate, we're going to open this up for our citizens to have opportunity to make our citizens be able to bring information business before this council that's not on our printed agenda. Before we welcome speakers to the podium, I want to remind the audience that, and anyone speaking tonight, that it is a public meeting. And as earlier the lady speaking out loud, we're not going to tolerate that, any profanity or threats to our council or staff. If you violate the rules, we're going to ask you to leave. With that, I would ask you, when I call your name, come up. You have 3 minutes to speak. State your name, the city you live in. If it's not Glendale, if you know the district you live in Glendale, tell us. Please don't tell us your actual physical address. We don't need that. With that, I'm going to start off with a pretty regular customer that we have, Mr. Dibler. Sir, you're up. After Mr. Dibler, we're going to ask Roberto Ramirez to come up. And then after him, Dave, I never could pronounce your last name. And then Diana Guzman following that. Yeah, 3 minutes, sir.
Hi, my name is James Deibler. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. Today, I'm speaking to you regarding the abandoned house at 52nd Avenue and Thunderbird Road on the northwest corner near the Mormon Church. Last week, while I was riding on the city bus on Thunderbird Road, I saw a burned down abandoned house with a lot of trash on their backs of the yard. The current owners of the property doesn't take care of the property and his neighbors. Finally, I would like the city of Glendale compliance to inspect this abandoned house at 52nd Avenue and Thunderbird Road to make sure they meet core compliance to clean up the trash in the back of the yard. Thank you for taking the time to consider this matter.
Thank you, James. Roberto Ramirez? Ramos? Okay, sir. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Councils. My name is Roberto Ramos. I live on 83rd Avenue in Glendale. I believe that's the Yucca Center. I'm a restaurant owner and resident of Glendale. I'm going to express my growing concern about the increasing number of mobile vendors who are negatively impacting local businesses. These vendors, many of them operate without proper licenses and permits, and are posing serious threats to our community health and fairness of our business environment. Over the last 12 months, there has been a noticeable rise of unlicensed vendors. Some of them operate under unsanitary conditions, failing to adhere to proper food and safety standards. Others obstruct sidewalks or operate from golf carts, creating further disruptions. I follow the city and state and county regulations, and I report these issues using the Glendale One app. However, many of these have not led to any successful interventions. Fellow restaurant owners and I are held to strict standards. We face consequences for minor infractions, such as displaying flags outside of our establishments. We pay taxes and maintain our licenses. It is disheartening to see some of these rules being violated by unregulated vendors without any enforcement by city officials. Upon reviewing the Arizona revised statutes, I noted that Governor Doug Ducey posed a law 9-485.01 prohibiting mobile vendors from operating within 250 feet of residential zones. While the city of Glendale adopted this law, it included an exception to it, allowing vendors to operate on private property and in residential areas for up to 6 hours with the property's owner's agreement. Unfortunately, this exception is being abused, with many vendors exceeding the time limits and multiple vendors operating in the same location without any proper oversight. The lack of enforcement poses a significant threat to brick-and-mortar businesses, allowing vendors to operate anywhere without any zoning restrictions. I urge the city to reconsider this exception and to cancel it, implement strict monitoring and enforcement mechanisms. Some of my questions are, who monitor these exceptions and who is responsible for holding vendors accountable? Who should we contact when vendors operate without licenses or exceed these limits? Who can we reach out when vendors obstruct sidewalks? Does the city have a budget to monitor these exceptions effectively? This current situation makes our city resemble like a SWAT meet rather than a well-regulated community. We need immediate assistance to address these situations and issues and ensure a fair business environment for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Dave. I'm sorry, I can't remember how to pronounce your name.
It's okay. Nobody can, Mayor. Nobody can. Guacamole, guajillo. Yeah, I'm used to. I get them all. Dave Goitia, President, Glendale Fraternal Order of Police, headquartered right here in the Ocotillo District. Mayor and Council, it's been a while since I've taken some time to thank you as a whole, your steadfast support for law enforcement. It's been too long, and I'd like to do that this evening. You know, it's a difficult time for law enforcement across our nation. You'll remember the summer of 2020. It seemed like essentially overnight, cops went from being heroic community servants to villains because of an incident that happened 1,600 miles away from our city. Spawned from this unfortunate time in our nation's history was the police defund movement. And now here we are 4 years later, and the consequences of those unfortunate and misguided policies have created a strain on police agencies across this country, taking them to the brink. Vallejo, California, down 40% police staffing, a reality which has caused that city to declare a state of emergency. You know, just a few weeks ago, they had an intersection takeover that led to the looting of a 7-Eleven, a shooting, a man pulled from his truck and beaten, only to then have his truck set on fire. All of this went on for 40 minutes before the first officer was able to arrive to restore order. I just read that St. Louis down 400 officers in the wake of their defund the police experiment. Well, they currently have 1,000 unsolved homicides, businesses fleeing, residents fleeing. In fact, so fast, I was shocked to hear this. We in Glendale, we're on track to overtake St. Louis in population within about 3 years, based on the amount of people that are getting the heck out of that city. A diminishing tax base is fueling a cycle of unfortunate consequences for that city. Portland down 100 officers, Atlanta down 250, Minneapolis down 400, and I'm sure you heard just a couple of weeks ago, a young black officer ambushed and murdered. I think he had about 1.5 years on the job. I don't know where Minneapolis goes. I don't know where it ends up. Dallas down 500, Phoenix down hundreds. Law enforcement in this country have been beaten down to the point where very few anymore want to do the job, all over questionable, broad brush narratives. But the reality is this, though. Police are not the problem in this country. Police are, in fact, the last best hope for many of our inner cities. I am so thankful that our city stands in contrast to those places. It's important that we stop from time to time to show thanks for the support we now have from our city leaders. And so, on behalf of the 430 members of the Glendale Fraternal Order of Police, headquartered, by the way, right here in Glendale, thank you. Thank you for thinking about us. Thank you for caring for us. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for recognizing the truth that the vast majority of the public still appreciate the thin blue line that stands between anarchy and law and order. And briefly, I'd just like to mention, this box was mailed to our officers yesterday. It's full of hundreds of cards from community members showing support for law enforcement. And one last thing, as a leader of a labor organization based here in Glendale, I think y'all are doing a great job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, last speaker, Diana Guzman.
Good afternoon, Mayor Wires and council members. My name is Diana Guzman. I am a resident in the Yucca District. I have lived there for over 27 years. I would like to thank you, Mayor Wires and the City Council, for your dedication in approving the city budget that includes the funding for the design of the Glendale Heroes Regional Park Aquatic and Recreation Center. I also would like to say that I have been attending these workshops and council meetings for the last 9 months, and I have been very impressed with the sincere concern that you all and the council members and the mayor have for the city of Glendale. I think it's very important as a citizen of Glendale to know that your mayor and council members really care about you. That's why I am running for the Glendale City Council for the Yucca District to continue to the good work that you are all doing. And I'd also like to tell everyone to have a happy 4th of July. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So there being no further business before this council tonight, I hope everyone has a safe, wonderful July. We will be going dark. We will not have any actual voting or workshop meetings until August. I assure you that the city's not closing down, and we're all still working, but we're just not going to have any voting meetings. With that, if there's no objection, this council is adjourned.